listen up, because this isn't going to be comfortable. This isn't going to be sugar-coated. I didn't come here to make you feel good. I came here to wake you up. The title today is simple. To change your life, you must control your mind. And most of you think you understand that. You nod your head, you clap, you post a quote online. But the truth is, most people in this room are still prisoners inside their own head. Your mind is the battlefield. It's the place where every excuse is born, where every ounce of doubt takes root, where every voice that tells you you're not enough gets louder. And here's the truth. If you don't get control of that voice, it will own you. It will keep you average. It will keep you broken. It will keep you living at half speed while you lie to yourself about being fine. When that alarm clock goes off at 4 a.m., your body doesn't decide whether you stay in bed or get up. The voice in your head does. When life smashes you in the mouth and you want to quit, your body doesn't raise the white flag. It's your mind that does. So don't tell me your problem is discipline or time or resources. Your problem is your mind has been running you instead of you running your mind. You want to change your life. Then take command of the only thing you can truly control, your mindset. You train it the same way you train muscle. Reps, pressure, resistance. Every time you feel weak and still move forward, that's a rep. Every time you hear the excuse in your head and you override it, that's a rep. Every time you feel pain and keep going anyway, that's a rep. And over time, those reps create a savage mental toughness. A toughness that can't be broken by circumstance, can't be bent by fear, can't be manipulated by comfort. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop letting your mind dictate the terms. You flip the script. You tell your mind what the hell it's going to do, and then you do it. Listen up, because what I'm about to say is not going to feel good. It's not supposed to. I didn't come here to pat you on the back and tell you everything's fine. I came here to break through the lies you've been feeding yourself. The title today is simple. To change your life, you must control your mind. And right now, a lot of you think you know what that means. You nod your head. You say, yeah, that's true. But here's the reality. Most of you are living as slaves inside your own head. Your mind is the most dangerous weapon you own, and it's the one you've let turn against you. That voice inside, the one that whispers, stay comfortable, stay safe, stay average. That voice has been running your life for years. It's the voice that talks you out of getting up early, talks you out of pushing harder, talks you into skipping the gym, quitting on the grind, and sitting on the couch. And you listen. Every damn day you listen and you wonder why your life hasn't changed. Let me tell you something. It's not the world holding you back. It's not your boss. It's not your parents. It's not your past. And it's not your circumstances. The enemy is in your head. That's the prison you've been locked inside. You see, your body will go as far as your mind allows it. People tell me all the time, I'm tired, I'm broken, I can't keep going. That's a lie. Your body can do 10 times more than you think. But it's your mind that shuts you down long before your body ever would. The truth is, you've trained your mind to be weak. You've trained it to surrender at the first sign of discomfort. And every time you give in to that weakness, you reinforce it. You build chains around yourself. Now, here's the brutal truth. If you don't take control of your mind will control you. It will keep you from greatness. It will keep you stuck in the same cycle. Start, quit, regret. Start, quit, regret. Over and over until you're old, looking back, full of excuses and empty on achievements. When that alarm goes off at 4 a.m., do you know who decides whether you get out of bed? It's not your body. Your body is just lying there. It's that voice in your head. And most of you hit snooze because that voice says, stay in bed. You deserve rest. That voice just stole your future. When life punches you in the face, when people doubt you, when everything goes wrong, your body doesn't raise the white flag. Your mind does. That's why it doesn't matter how strong your muscles are, how much talent you were born with. If your mind is weak, you will break. So what's the solution? You want to change your life. Then stop being a passenger in your own head. Take the damn wheel. Take control. You do that by training your mind the same way you train a muscle. Reps, pressure, resistance. You don't build strength by lifting what's easy. You build it by lifting what's heavy. The mind is no different. Every time you feel weak and you still move forward, that's a rep. Every time you hear the excuse in your head and you override it, that's a rep. Every time you're in pain and you keep going anyway, that's a rep. You want mental toughness. It doesn't come from reading a book. It doesn't come from watching a video. It comes from doing the hard shit day after day until your mind has no choice but to adapt. You've got to build a relationship with suffering, not avoid it. Embrace it. Because suffering is the gym for the mind. Every time you suffer and keep going, you are rewiring your brain. You're teaching yourself, I don't quit. I don't negotiate. I don't stop just because it hurts. That's how you turn weakness into strength. But most of you run from pain. You want life to be comfortable. You want things to be easy. And that's why you're stuck. Comfort is the enemy. Comfort is the slow death. Comfort is the drug that's keeping you from ever finding out who the hell you really are. You want to change your life. Then stop chasing comfort and start chasing challenge. When you control your mind, you stop negotiating with yourself. You stop having conversations about whether you're going to do the work. The decision is already made. The alarm goes off. You get up. The workout is scheduled. You do it. The task is in front of you. You execute. End of story. No bargaining, no compromise, no excuses. That's what separates people who change their lives from people who just dream about it. Everybody wants the outcome. Everybody wants success, freedom, respect. But very few are willing to go to war with their own mind every single day. Very few are willing to crush that inner voice that keeps saying, not today, not now, not me. And I'll tell you right now, controlling your mind is not about motivation. Motivation is weak. Motivation is temporary. Motivation gets you started, but it doesn't keep you going. Discipline is what keeps you going. Mind control is what keeps you going. Because motivation will disappear the second life gets hard. Discipline is what makes you get up anyway. So here's the challenge I put in front of you from this moment forward. Stop listening to that weak voice. Start calling it out. When it says stay in bed, you get up. When it says take a break, you keep pushing. When it says you can't, you prove it wrong. Day after day, rep after rep. That's how you take control back. That's how you build a mind that can't be broken. And when that mind is unbreakable, your life transforms. Suddenly you're not a slave to fear, not a slave to excuses, not a slave to doubt. You become the master of your fate because nothing, no obstacle, no setback, no pain can control a person who has full control over their mind. Your mind is the battlefield. If you don't control it, it will control you. Let that sink in. Everything you want in life, success, discipline, strength, confidence. It all begins and ends inside your head. The world is not what's stopping you. The circumstances around you are not what's holding you down. It's the war inside your own mind that you've been losing over and over again. Think about it. Every time you set a goal, every time you say you're going to change, every time you promise yourself that this is the moment you're going to rise up, you're fired up, you're ready. And then what happens? A few days later, maybe a week, that little voice creeps in. It tells you you're too tired. You've earned a break. It's okay to skip this one. That voice talks you out of greatness. And the moment you give in, you just handed over control of the battlefield. That's the trap. Most people think life is about fighting the outside world, problems, other people, obstacles. But the real fight is internal. You can't even begin to win on the outside until you've learned how to win inside your head. If your mind is weak, it doesn't matter how strong your body is or how much talent you've got. You'll quit. You'll give up long before the fight is actually over. The battlefield of the mind is constant. It doesn't take days off. Every morning when you wake up, the war starts again. That alarm clock goes off. Your first battle is right there. Do you get up or do you stay in bed? You think that's small, but it's not. That decision sets the tone for your entire day. And too many people lose that battle before the day even begins. Now here's the truth. Controlling your mind isn't about silencing the negative voice completely. That voice will always be there. It's wired into you. It's part of survival. Your brain wants to protect you from discomfort, from pain, from risk. That's why it whispers, stay safe, stay comfortable. But growth doesn't live in safety. Strength doesn't live in comfort. Greatness doesn't live in the easy path. So your job is not to erase that voice. It's to override it, to make your stronger voice louder. And that doesn't happen overnight. You don't win the battlefield of the mind once and never fight again. This is a war you fight daily. You win it by building mental toughness rep by rep. You win it by catching yourself when you're about to give in and choosing the harder path anyway. You win it by refusing to negotiate with weakness. When you finally learn to control the battlefield of your mind, something shifts. Suddenly, obstacles don't break you. Pain doesn't scare you. Fear doesn't own you. Because you've built the habit of fighting back, of taking charge, of dictating your own actions, instead of letting that weak voice control you. That's when you realize the only enemy you ever had to defeat was inside your head. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Embrace suffering to build mental toughness. That's the truth most people don't want to hear. Everyone wants the reward, the success, the freedom, the respect. But the second the path gets hard, they run back to comfort. They run back to the couch, to the excuses, to the easy life. And that's why they stay stuck. Comfort is killing more dreams than failure ever will. The human mind is wired to seek safety. It craves the easy path, the soft pillow, the warm blanket, the predictable routine. That's survival mode. That's biology. But here's the problem: survival mode and growth mode can't live in the same place. You can't reach your potential while clinging to comfort. You can't discover how strong you really are if you're always avoiding the struggle. Growth lives in suffering. Growth lives in challenge. Growth lives in the moments where everything in you wants to quit, but you keep going anyway. Think about the gym. Muscles don't grow without resistance. You don't get stronger lifting what's light. You grow by lifting what hurts, by pushing until it burns, by forcing your body past its limits. The mind works the same way. If you only give it easy tasks, if you always stay in comfort, it stays weak. But when you deliberately embrace suffering, when you put yourself in the fire on purpose, you train your mind to adapt. You build resilience. You build toughness. Most people treat suffering like it's poison. They run from it. They complain when life gets hard. They think pain is a sign to stop. But suffering isn't poison. It's fuel. It's the gym where your mind gets forged into something unbreakable. Every time you suffer and push through, you create proof inside yourself. Proof that you can endure. Proof that you're stronger than you thought. Proof that pain is temporary, but pride lasts forever. Comfort, on the other hand, is a slow death. It feels good in the moment, but it robs you in the long run. You skip the workout, you sleep in, you avoid the challenge, and little by little, you lose confidence in yourself. You start to believe you're not capable of more because you've trained yourself to avoid more. Comfort is seductive, but it makes you soft. So what's the answer? You've got to flip the script. Stop seeing suffering as something to avoid and start seeing it as an opportunity. An opportunity to train your mind, to sharpen your edge, to separate yourself from everyone else who runs at the first sign of discomfort. When you embrace suffering, you become dangerous. You become someone who can't be broken because you've already lived through the pain that breaks other people. And here's the ultimate paradox. The more you seek out suffering, the stronger you get and the more freedom you feel. Freedom doesn't come from comfort. Freedom comes from knowing you can face anything life throws at you. That confidence only comes when you've put yourself in the fire and refuse to back down. Discipline beats motivation. Stop negotiating with yourself. Too many people rely on motivation to carry them, and that's why they never get anywhere. Motivation is weak. Motivation is a spark. It burns bright for a moment, then dies the second life gets tough. Discipline, though. Discipline is the engine. Discipline is what keeps moving long after motivation is gone. If you want to build a new life, if you want to transform, you have to stop leaning on feelings and start leaning on discipline. Here's the truth: motivation is an emotion. And like every emotion, it changes with your mood, with your circumstances, with the weather outside. You wake up tired, motivation disappears. You fail once, motivation disappears. Someone criticizes you, motivation disappears. That's why people start diets on Monday and quit by Friday. That's why they hit the gym for a week, then vanish for months. That's why they set goals every New Year's Eve, then break them before February. They were relying on motivation, not discipline. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline doesn't ask for permission. Discipline doesn't wait until the stars align or until you feel ready. Discipline is getting up at 4 a.m. when your bed is warm and your body screams no. Discipline is showing up to the grind when nobody's watching, when there's no applause, when there's no guarantee of reward. Discipline is doing it anyway. And when you build discipline, you build consistency. And consistency beats talent, beats luck, beats motivation every time. The reason most people fail is because they keep negotiating with themselves. That voice inside says, we can skip just this once. We'll start again tomorrow. We're too tired today. And instead of shutting that voice down, you entertain it. You start bargaining. You start making deals with your weakness. And once you start negotiating, you've already lost. You want to break that cycle. Make discipline non-negotiable. Remove the option to quit. Remove the option to skip. Remove the option to wait until you feel like it. When you say you're going to do something, it's already decided. It gets done, period. That's how you rewire your brain. That's how you stop being at the mercy of your feelings and start being in control of your actions. And here's the crazy thing. Once discipline is locked in, freedom follows. Most people think discipline is prison, but it's the opposite. Discipline is freedom. Because when you know you can rely on yourself, when you know you'll show up no matter what, you don't live in constant anxiety anymore. You don't question your own word. You don't wonder if you'll quit this time, And that certainty is powerful. Motivation will come and go. Motivation might get you started. But discipline is what keeps you moving day after day through failure, through setbacks, through pain. The people who win in life are not the ones who were motivated once. They're the ones who built the discipline to keep going forever. Every rep against excuses, fear, and pain rewires your brain for strength. That's how mental toughness is built. Not in the big moments, not in the highlights, but in the tiny choices you make every single day when nobody's watching. Your brain is a pattern-making machine. It learns from repetition. Every action you take is a rep, and every rep teaches your brain what kind of person you are. When you give in to excuses, that's a rep for weakness. When you let fear dictate your choices, that's a rep for hesitation. When you stop because of pain, that's a rep for quitting. Over time, those reps stack up and you condition yourself to fold. But the opposite is also true. Every time you override an excuse, that's a rep for discipline. Every time you step into fear instead of running from it, that's a rep for courage. Every time you push through pain instead of letting it stop you, that's a rep for resilience. Those reps stack up too, and they change the wiring of your mind. You literally become a different person, stronger, tougher, harder to break. Think about how you train a muscle. You don't get stronger by lifting once. You get stronger by putting in reps, by stressing the muscle over and over until it adapts. The mind works the same way. One victory doesn't transform you. It's repetition, the accumulation of small daily wins that turns you into a machine. And just like in the gym, the reps that count the most are the hardest ones. The ones where you want to stop, the ones where it hurts, the ones where everything in you screams to quit. That's where the real growth happens. The problem is most people don't recognize the power of those moments. They think skipping one workout, sleeping in one morning, or letting one excuse slide doesn't matter. But it matters more than they realize. Because every decision is training. You're either training weakness or you're training strength. There is no neutral. So the question is, what are you repping every day? Are you repping excuses or discipline? Are you repping fear or courage? Are you repping quitting or resilience? Because the habits you build in the small moments will decide how you respond in the big ones. When life hits you hard, when everything falls apart, you won't rise to the level of your motivation. You'll fall to the level of your training. And that's why you need to treat every moment like a chance to rewire yourself. Every excuse you crush is a step closer to becoming unbreakable. Every fear you face is a brick in the wall of your strength. Every pain you endure is proof that you can go further than you thought. Day by day, rep by rep, you transform. Eventually, the same voice that once told you to quit becomes the voice that tells you to keep going. The same brain that once looked for the exit starts looking for the next challenge. That's the power of reps. That's the power of rewiring. You don't just change what you do. You change who you are. Controlling your mind is the gateway to controlling your future. That's the truth most people miss. Everyone wants to control external things. Money, circumstances, opportunities, other people. But the reality is you can't control any of that. Life will always throw chaos your way. People will doubt you. Plans will collapse. Setbacks will hit. If your future depends on everything around you being perfect, you're already finished. The only thing you will ever fully control is your mind. And once you master that, the future bends in your favor. Your mind dictates every choice you make. It decides whether you take action or stay stuck. It decides whether you rise after failure or stay down. It decides whether you chase your potential or surrender to average. And if your mind is weak, if it's undisciplined, if it's filled with fear and excuses, then your future is already locked. You'll never move beyond where you are right now. But if your mind is strong, if it's disciplined, if it's focused, then no setback, no circumstance, no obstacle can stop you. You'll find a way forward because your mind won't allow you to quit. Think about the most successful, toughest, most resilient people you've ever seen. Do they have the easiest lives? No. Do they have the most luck? No. What they have is mastery over their mind. They don't let fear paralyze them. They don't let doubt dictate their choices. They don't let pain push them off course. They control their thoughts. They control their actions. And by doing that, they control their destiny. Your future is not built in the big moments. It's built in the invisible ones. When you're alone, when nobody's clapping, when it's just you and your thoughts. That's when the battle for your future is decided. If in those moments you let weakness win, you're writing a future full of regret. But if in those moments you take control, if you force yourself to rise, if you refuse to give in, you're writing a future full of power, pride, and possibility. And here's the key. Controlling your mind doesn't mean you'll eliminate fear, doubt, or pain. Those things will always be there. Controlling your mind means you'll no longer be controlled by them. You'll feel fear, but act anyway. You'll hear doubt, but move forward anyway. You'll experience pain, but keep going anyway. That's freedom. That's strength. That's how you shape a future that's unshakable. Once you learn to control your mind, you stop being reactive. You stop being a victim of your circumstances. Instead, you become proactive. You create your reality. You make choices from strength instead of weakness. You design your future step by step because you're no longer at the mercy of the voice in your head. And that's the gateway. That's the key. Control your mind and you unlock everything else. You unlock discipline. You unlock resilience. You unlock courage. You unlock the ability to turn vision into reality. Your mind is the gatekeeper. If you don't take control of it, your future will be dictated by fear, comfort, and excuses. But if you seize control, your future belongs to you. And nothing, not pain, not failure, not doubt, can take it away.